Alright, it's a new day. The battery died, didn't finish it. That's as far as I got yesterday. Um, yeah. So this is what I eat for breakfast sometimes. It's Reese's Pieces cereal. And I like my cereal soggy. So you gotta like close it in a Tupperware. Let it sog there for like a few minutes. And that's how I like my cereal. Also should also buy more milk. Okay, maybe I'll go buy more milk and then I'll continue on this. Oh yeah, actually before I do that. So this is how I rigged up the fans. It's pretty nice, I think. All the cables all neatly tied. So the thing is, I need the Molex connector for the fans, and also I need the Molex signal going to this power supply, which will cause this power supply to turn on whenever this power supply is on. Otherwise I will have to turn them off, turn this on individually. It's just nicer that way, and I didn't want to have two Molex cables going. It took me a little finagling to organize the wires, but I think it's fitting. Let's see here. Alright. So I have this 24 pin plugged with a CPU tester from Seasonic. So that means when I turn on power supply, it's gonna sense that it needs to turn on right away, as if there is a motherboard plugged in already. And there it goes. So when I turn off the power supply, they both turn off. When I turn on power supply, this one turns on. But there's like a 2-second delay, which kind of sucks. When you have a 2-second delay on the power supply, it will cause the video cards that are powered by this power supply not to be detected. So sometimes you have to restart the computer after you started it. And the way that all the fans are oriented here is that all the fans are blowing this way. So the power supply fan is blowing this way, this power supply fan is also blowing outwards, and all of these fans are blowing outwards. So you want to have like all the fans, all the airflow going in one direction. And the way the video cards are gonna work is also similar way. So, oh gee, yeah. So something like this. Yeah. So the air from video card is gonna come in here and come out from this side, and come out from this side. So you want to point it either so this side gets sucked into here, or this side gets sucked in there. So that's how I want to do it, either pointing like this or pointing it like that. Preferably this way, because there will be PCIe card here that will be blocking some of the airflow from these fins. So there's more open fins on this side for this card, but some cards are opposite, like Asus Strix. They have more airflow on the back of the card than the front of the card. So that's, yeah. So that way, all the airflow is pushed in one direction and sped up by these fans, and that should provide the best results. And yeah, these fans are pretty good. They're quite impressive, and it feels like just a little bit weaker than a 20-inch box fan that I have going outside, but a lot quieter. So like, see, even like 3 feet away or 1 meter away, there's decent airflow and no noise. Alright, anyway, I'm gonna go buy milk and we'll continue this rig. Yay, now I can eat my cereal. Okay, let's attempt to finish this build. So, got the video cards here. Got the four more video cards here, and that's gonna make it for a full 6 GPU mining rig. Also gonna take out that motherboard there and swap out the SSD. This is the motherboard I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna use M.2 SSD in here. So before I install the motherboard, I want to put the SSD in there, but before I put the SSD in there, I want to put the Hive OS onto this SSD. So this looks like a SATA SSD, but it's actually M.2 SSD connected to a SATA adapter, which is connected to a USB adapter. So what I use is Hive OS. You can so you search for Hive OS download, install Hive OS, and download the zip file. So I already have this zip file downloaded. And then what you can use is Etcher tool to flash the Hive OS onto the SSD. So there is the downloaded Hive OS. Selected the image, then select the drive. So I'm gonna select the SSD drive right there. I think that's the one. Yeah. And flash. Then I'm gonna put some RAM in there. Oh yeah, so that's the RAM I'm gonna put in there. So this is an overkill, but that's the RAM that I have. Basically you just need 4 gigs or 8 gigs when you're running Hive OS. So 1 stick is enough. So there, that's the motherboard. Now to secure the motherboard to the cardboard, I use zip ties, and just like mark the hole, punch the hole with a pen. Oh, not zip ties, I'm using tie wires. There we go. Something like that. And then these long wires are messing my feng shui. Have to get them out of sight. There we go. Beautiful. Look at that. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, the cardboard is here to isolate it from the metal frame, you know. Don't want it short circuiting. And then yeah, so usually I would use zip ties to zip tie this to the frame also, but kind of shorten zip ties. So I think I'm just gonna use tie wires again. Yeah, not the prettiest, but you know, it's a mining rig. Doesn't actually need to be pretty. This isn't a beauty salon, beauty show, beauty pageant there, not a beauty pageant. Now, turn on to be able to boot up the computer, you know, you need a power button. So I use one of these things. You can get like a pack like that from eBay or Aliexpress or maybe Amazon. So it's just a power button, and that goes into here, I believe. There's also readout on the motherboard. This says PW. Plus minus doesn't matter. It's just wires getting connected. Okay. Yeah, something like this. And looking a little bit jank. There we go. Maybe beautiful. Maybe feng shui was restored, perhaps. Anyway, it's there. It's probably functional. All right. So then to power the motherboard, this is the motherboard power and the CPU power. In there, like that. So, and to secure this power supply in place, what I would do is put a zip tie. This is the only zip tie I can spare around the cables here. There we go. Now the power supply is somewhat, you know, secured. And alright, so to power the GPUs, I will have a lot of 3070s in this rig, and 3070s need 2 PCIe cables here, and also need one more PCIe cable for the PCIe riser. So I will need 3 of the 8 pins power plugs per GPU. As you can see, I only have 4 here, and my plan is to have 3 GPUs per power supply. So 3 GPUs on this 2 and 3 GPUs on this 2. And you know, that might sound ridiculous, because how can I do this with the 4 plugs? Well, you can split them, and then you split each one of them, you still have 8, and 8 is not enough to power 3 GPUs, because 3 times 3 equals 9. Well, you can add one more. So basically you will be having like a splitter at the end of a splitter, and then that might sound even more ridiculous. I'm turning 4 plugs into 9 plugs. Is that even safe? And to that I say yes, it is, because each ribbon can provide 280 watts of power. Each GPU is going to be drawing only 120 watts of power. So technically, these two ribbons of power is enough to power 4 GPUs, but my plan is to power 3 GPUs. Oh, and it's enough to power 4 GPUs, 4 of 3070s or 4 of 57 XTs in mining underclocking, because obviously it's not enough power to power for gaming, because gaming will use a lot more power, but for mining underclocked GPUs they only use about 120 watts, so that's gonna be enough. Now the splitters that I have here, so there's good quality splitters you can get from Amazon. These fit just fine. You can just plug them in right way up, and they are no issues with them. They work perfectly. Then there are our Aliexpress splitters. So Aliexpress splitters I had to modify. They did not have a divider, or the divider was in the way to be plugged in, but if you cut out the divider, it should fit. Then there was Aliexpress, the one that doesn't fit. So this one not only doesn't have the divider, but it also was a round shape. As you can see, the top left is a square here without bezels, and bottom one is a square with beveled edges. And we have the opposite happening here. The bottom one is a square without bezels, and top one is with bezels. So you can fit it in here if you force it after you modified it, but it looks like it starts bulging out. So I would not recommend that plug it in indirectly if you get splitters like this, but if you plug in Aliexpress splitter at the end of another Aliexpress splitter, then they work. So that's the plan here. First we're gonna turn 4 plugs into 8. Oh, this is the wrong one. Yeah, that's the wrong one. There we go. And now we have 8 of them, and we can split it one more. There we go. Now there's enough power cables to power 3 GPUs, and to do the server power supply, it's actually a bit more simple. These power supplies come with this, and as you can see, there are also only 8 plugs here. Is it gonna be enough? Well, yes, because one of the GPUs I'm gonna be using here, in the 3060 Ti, it only requires one PCIe 8-pin power, so it's gonna be fine. Now, the GPUs. So, my idea to have the GPUs mounted something like this. Can I use zip ties again to secure them? So, something like that. And as you can see, the hot air will be exhausted right into the fan, and the fan is going to suck the air out again and propel it further. So yeah, maybe something like that. You know, the closer the better. So you don't want this hot air to travel into the next GPU. Stay. Alright. Oh. Maybe I want to something, or maybe not. I don't really like how flimsy this is. Alright, finished mounting the GPUs. So that's how it worked out. Looks like I didn't need to use 2 zip ties per GPU. A lot of them are just mounted with a single zip tie, just wedged up here. And yeah, I like it. They're turned out pretty good. Look at that. They're stiff, they're strong, they're strut. It's perfect. I mean, they wiggle a little bit, but you know, a little dangle didn't hurt no one. Okay, so next is GPU risers to get, you know, all these 6 GPUs connected to this motherboard. So GPU risers come in a pack like this. So there is 16x PCI Express, 1x PCI Express. So 1x PCI Express goes into the motherboard, into the 1x slot, or it can also go into the 16x slot. It works just the same. And to connect them together, there's a USB cable. It's a USB 3 cable. There's nothing special about this USB 3 cable. If you have a different cable, you can use it. If you need a longer cable, you can just use regular USB 3 cable. As long as USB 3. USB 2 cable is not gonna work. And yeah, so connect one PCI into the motherboard, the other one into the GPU, and then also this one needs power, and that's where these power connectors come in. It's recommended to use 6x power on these risers, or Molex. Some of them come with like a SATA power, and it's not recommended to use SATA cables because they're not meant to deliver up to 100 watts, which PCI Express slot is meant to deliver up to 100 watts. So if it was to draw that much power, I think something bad might happen. So people recommend to use 6x power. People run dual power supplies. Sometimes they do it differently. Sometimes they would have one power supply powering all the risers, so they'll have one to each one of the one strand going to each risers, and a second power supply is powering all the video cards, so each strand will be going to a video card. But what if one power supply fails, or what if there's some kind of problem with one power supply? Like if the power supply that powers the GPU suddenly dies or has some kind of problem, then would it draw too much power from PCI Express? Would it cause the PCI Express to fry? Would it cause the video card to fry because there is power coming from one source, but there's no power coming from another source, and it might just drop too much current from one of them? I don't know. So that's why I don't do it. I just split out I split it out by GPUs, so that way if one power supply dies, all of the power to that GPU will go out at the same time. The power from its PC riser and the power to the GPU will go out at the same time. So, well, yeah, I guess maybe it will make sense once I start wiring this up. So, there, I have, wait, I thought I had 6, oh yeah, 6 PCI Express risers. So this 1x risers, 1x extensions can be plugged into the motherboard. So there are also Molex powers on some of the motherboards, and some people say you don't really need to power those because PCI risers themselves are getting power, so there's no extra power required to provide here, and it has worked for me in the past, but you know, who knows, maybe that was not correct advice, but for me I'll try to do it without it for now and see how it goes. Alright, so then I need to run this cables. Let's see, is that gonna be long enough? Yeah, I think should be able to reach anywhere. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so these 3 power connectors will go to the risers, and these 6 power connectors go to the GPUs. Need to organize this somehow. Don't wanna have these cables going into the fans. Oh well, I'm just gonna keep going for now and see how it turns out in the end, and maybe organize it at the end. Maybe I should have plugged in the power before I installed the GPUs. It's not easy to get to the power connectors. Alright, so got the power going to all the GPUs. Now, risers. Alright, so riser needs power. Yep, and then this USB cable. And then it goes onto the video card. There we go. Something like that. And then for the next one. It's gonna be quite a wire jungle up in here. Hopefully it's not gonna interfere with airflow too much. So this is like a locking mechanism, but I find it usually not necessary, so I just leave it open and never lock, and works for me so far. Alright. Awesome. I think I'll get some zip ties. Disaster. Yeah, anyway, yeah, just leave it as this. Cool. So now I wanna test the power, make sure that the GPUs get power and the fans all spinning. Okay, hopefully nothing spontaneously combusts. So now this is the power button for the motherboard, and it should turn on both power supplies. And there it is. Cool. Nothing is burning. I think that's a good sign. Those cables are kind of close to the fan. Maybe I should rearrange them. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sometimes this motherboard will power cycle after first boot up. Oh yeah, look at those LEDs. Nice. Oh yeah. Oh no, that RGB is not visible. Next is to weather resisted. So I'm gonna build walls and a ceiling for the brick out of this foam. Didn't expect the need to be splitting this video into 3 parts, but here we are. The video is getting pretty long, it's like 30 minutes already. Gotta split it up. Anyway, there will be more continuing in the next video, insulating the frame or weather resisting the frame. And that's it for this video.